Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Sunday, January 4th, 2015 by Gaia Blooming. Our energy mantra for today is self-love is service. And today we have a full moon in Cancer that will be happening at 8:53 p.m. Pacific. So late in the evening, a big glorious full moon to fill us up, and we'll get to that in just a minute. So we're going to be winding down from all the craziness that happened yesterday, but we got some shift happening today. The first thing I want to mention is that Mercury is shifting into Aquarius at 5 p.m. Pacific. So we know Mercury rules our mind. And we also know that right before it shifts, it's at that last tested degree. And with the full moon and all the energy of yesterday, and still in the morning hanging out in that revolution, evolution, 13-degree Uranus energy, we may be feeling triggered. So I remind you of my favorite thing to go back to. Is it kind? Is it true? Is it necessary? And let that help you with your communication today. Besides that, Mercury also finishing up in Capricorn, and this being, building to this full moon happening today and a new year, this is a really good time to take some a mental picture of your idea of your purpose. And just, work in your mind with this last degree, this amazing tested degree, and just see if there's anything that needs to shift when it comes to your purpose, or if you feel like this is my purpose, and it's like in that golden frame, you're like, and you're moving towards it. It could be, it could be in many different states. Just keep, take some time and focus on that. Besides that, the moon is already in Cancer, building to that full moon. Starts off with a connection to Neptune, bringing amazing intuition into your day. Like the moon in Cancer already heightens your intuition, and then the Neptune connection just hones it in. So that's a beautiful, beautiful little thing. This is probably my favorite connection of the day. We have Venus, newly in Aquarius, reaching the first degree of Aquarius and meeting up with Saturn in Sagittarius. They're having a little sextile thing going on. This is a positive connection. And what was coming through with this is, Venus in Aquarius. Venus in Aquarius loves to be of service. Being of service is how Venus in Aquarius shows her love to the world. But I want to remind you that self-love, loving yourself, is service to the world, because then you can fully show up for yourself. Self-love is self-expansion, and Saturn in Sagittarius is all about self-expansion. Well, not just self-expansion, expansion in general, but we're taking it to the self today, and there'll be a little bit more about that. But maybe it's time to learn a new trick for being loving to yourself. So if you've never sat in the mirror and adored yourself, or something I had come up with one of my clients one time, actually with myself. It started with me, and then I brought it to a client. Sometimes there's just a time when you need to hug yourself and be like, I love me. And give yourself that love, like how you would a close friend. You would hug a close friend and tell them how much you love them. Maybe it's time to try that on you. And speaking of the healing that self-love can do, the sun in Capricorn is going to be connecting to Chiron, bringing in that healing energy. So maybe a little self-love, self-healing can help us with this full moon that we're building to. We then have Mercury shifting into Aquarius. Mercury in Aquarius is such a fun spot. How this came up in my mind when I was thinking about it was, I imagine people with little light bulbs going off over their head all the time. Aquarius is an amazing state of innovation and brilliance. And it's an amazing place of tapping into the divine mind and the collective. So allow the brilliance to come through. I do want to remind you that during this time, Mercury is going to go retrograde. So, that could put a little wonk in it. But keep those bright ideas, because just because there's a little wonk doesn't mean that they can't be honed. We then have the moon, which is building closer to this full moon, having a square with Uranus. And what I was feeling with this, building to this full moon in Cancer. Full moon in Cancer is really a time where we feel. We feel so much. We feel so deeply. And, I think sometimes our feelings will hold us back from really stepping into who we are. And so you may be feeling this in the afternoon as this moon is connecting to Uranus. These feelings that hold us back from bursting, bursting forward into who we are. And I think a lot of times that beyond this, going into the Cancer energy, beyond these feelings, they usually tie into something that has happened in our childhood. Words that we have said. So it's time to flesh out those words and let yourself be inspired by who you are, by your beautiful soul, and step up into that. And the other thing that's coming up for me too, full moon in Cancer can really resonate with feeling at home. Do I feel at home? And so, with this, Uranus kind of is always like, well, do I fit in here? I don't know. I kind of feel a little bit weird. I don't know if I fit in. And the thing I really want to get to with this full moon in Cancer is that home and security happen when you can really embrace who you are and just be that in any moment. They say the home is where the heart is, and I say that home is where the heart embraced is. So if you can embrace your heart, if you can embrace every little part of you, your mind, your thoughts, your feelings, your body, your vibration, and just embrace it, love it, accept it, and be like, this is who I am. I'm always changing. I'm getting better and better with every moment. But this is who I am, and I love me. And if you can show up as that, that is the best home and security that you can truly give yourself. So I think that little connection is really, that little connection between the moon and Uranus is really urging us to that. And then we have a little connection between the moon and Pluto. And so Pluto in Capricorn is like, if there's anything in your home that's not working anymore, shoo, it's time to leave, shoo, get it on out. And the full moon is a beautiful time for shedding and release because it shines its light on those deepest parts that you've pushed aside and pushed down, and especially this Cancer moon, because the Cancer moon is so emotional, so feeling, and so illuminating. And I gotta say, I love this time of year because every time I look outside, I see the moon. I love going around throughout the day and be like, there's the moon, there she is, there's the sun, there's the moon. I like having them both. They're like my parents. I want the sun and the moon both. So the full moon, like I said, is happening at 8:53 p.m. Pacific. And we kind of talked about the home, security, embracing all parts of yourself, embracing your feelings. I wanted to get to the Sabian symbol. The Sabian symbol, because it's 14-degree Cancer, and I love this. Alone under the stars, a man of the world contemplates the course of his life. And so I love this. This is kind of talking about the dark night of the soul and really diving into those deep parts. But it's also to me saying, hey, there are always things of light out there that are guiding you. And if you are having trouble guiding yourself, look to the guidance. One of my favorite things to do is to go, I feel like for lifetimes, I've gone outside and looked at the stars. Like when I'm walking at night, like you will usually see me walking around looking up, just looking to the stars, looking to their guidance. That's why I do this, because their guidance just moves me so much. And so this is saying, hey, even though you may feel alone, you're never alone. You're always guided. And, if you need help, look out there for help. Look within, but look out there for help. So that's how I take this Sabian symbol. I think it's a beautiful one. And the final little thing, the card. Courage. And I think this just goes along. The courage for self-love. The courage to show up and be you. The courage to be secure in who you are, in your I am. So this is your first full moon for 2015. So I hope it's beautiful. I hope you have a beautiful day. And I hope you feel all the magical things that may not even feel magical, but all those magical feelings that are within you. I will remind you once again of the Rumi poem, The Guest House. And it says, all these feelings are guests from beyond that are teaching you things. And so if you want more of that, check out The Guest House by Rumi. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.